Welcome to Tansson TV Plus. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Mom.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Yep, thank you for joining again.
Yeah, Mom, how are you doing today?
I am doing just fine. Brandon, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, and I know we're getting into another first episode Friday.
We are, and we're continuing our theme of detective themes this month. And so we're going to talk about moonlighting.
Yes, and so this was one of your suggestions, and this series ran from March of 1985 to May of 1989 for 5 seasons.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. And overall, this series really is about two people who are somewhat partners in a detective agency. So that's the general overview of the series.
Well, Mom, thank you so much for that.
You're welcome, Brandon.
Yes, and this is the first episode on the pilot movie that is in present day count as the first 2 episodes of the series.
Yes, yes. So this is for those of you guys who are watching it without commercials, it's roughly about an hour and a half. And let's talk a little bit about some of the initiating events that occurs. Are you ready, Brandon?
You can go right ahead.
Alrighty. First of all, like I said, this is a detective series. And so one of the things I did like about this show is that it starts right away with letting us know about the background of the show and how these two became partners working together. The two characters, David Addison and Maddie Hayes, are the two main characters. And Maddie actually was a model at one point in time, and so apparently she had some money, and then her money became very low, and so her businesses started losing money. And so she decided that one of the things that she was going to do was to actually shut down some of her businesses in order to liquidate the assets. And so she shows up to her detective agency that she has, and she seemed really shocked when her accountant spoke to her about this. She actually sounded kind of shocked that she had this detective agency. But anyway, she goes there in order to really shut it down. And instead, when she gets there, she meets a man who has run the agency for the last few months, and his name's David Addison. In the midst of the fact that she was trying to take down the agency, she and Addison actually end up kind of happening upon a mystery. And they are able to solve the case a little later in the show. At the end, they end up working together. And so that's really the background in a nutshell. The mystery itself is completely separate, but I just think it's important to know how they became partners and working together.
Yeah, that definitely is a key aspect of this show. And so we oftentimes speak about, pilot episodes for shows, but for these drama shows, we oftentimes see pilot movies instead. And the key difference is that these pilot movies usually have all of the explanation, drama, and emotions that you need all within a condensed and extensive time, with the hope that the overall big question of the episode or movie is finished by the end, but you're intrigued enough to tune into another episode.
Yeah, and Brandon, for you, did you think that this one actually came together?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I feel that while one, it definitely feels like a mini movie within this episode, is that I thought it was really well done, and it kept me interested, to see how the rest of the series progresses. And I like the explanations as to why they're in this situation. And I think it's just such a fast pace, too, that before you can sort of mentally comprehend something, we're already on to the next piece of the action, which I think really helps entice us as viewers.
Yeah, I thought they did a really nice job also. I also like that. I like the comedy aspect of it also. So, and I thought that was really great. I thought they kind of meshed really well together as characters on the show itself. And so I thought that helped to move the storyline along. Now, the mystery itself, I wanted to keep that completely separate, and I'm really going to go talk about the in-depth mystery of it. But I thought they did a nice job actually incorporating the mystery like from the very beginning. And so that started from the very beginning, and then it weaved its way through to the end. And I thought they did a nice job of allowing them to kind of solve it per se with each other. Uh, And then and because they were able to work together by solving the mystery, it kind of helped establish them as main characters, and to kind of show that they kind of both knew what they were doing. And I thought they did a great job of blending that together. And then, of course, it made you kind of think about, the rest of the series, and the fact that you kind of wonder, what is this going to look like for the rest of the series? Are they going to, keep their comedy up? Are they going to be serious about this? Are they really going to have real mysteries to solve each week? And that is a good question. I can't answer that question because you know, when I watched the series, I just saw one or two episodes while it was on, and so it'll be interesting to see if I decide to continue watching whether or not would they do that. But they have actually made enough effort to show that this would be a show that actually will have a good mystery along with it, and the ability to solve it and let the audience be able to solve it at the same time. Your thoughts, Brandon?
Yeah, I definitely love the dynamic, between the characters and even the way that the show paces itself. I thought it was just really, well done. Especially that, like, I felt for the characters, as they went through, and even the sort of quote unquote bad guy with the mohawk that they had sort of chasing around for about half the mini movie pilot. That, like, you could see that he was supposed to be a fierce guy, but a fierce guy that is fearing for his life. And like I felt that like it resonated, and so I just thought the way that they portrayed it is well done, and even just sort of the minor things, like in the directing where you see Maddie walking up, but you see it where it starts like at her shoes walking up, and then as it pans up to show her as she walks into a room. I think is just a really well done aspect of that, and I'm intrigued to see what happens for the rest of the series. I've never seen the series before, other than this episode. Though, for those tuning in, we did tune into a little bit of the series finale afterwards, after doing a little bit of Wikipedia research. But nevertheless, though, I'm kind of excited to see what the series has to hold and the dynamics of it, sort of like the who's in charge, because Maddie's the owner, but yet Mr. Addison is acting like the guy in charge. So I'm curious as to how that dynamic would be going forward for the series.
Yeah, that'll be kind of fun to watch. And they do have a secretary in there who I do know from watching, the few episodes I did watch, that actually is in the show also. She does remain on the show throughout the time period. Of course, with this show, I will say there was a little bit of controversy in general. We won't talk about that, but if you do your homework, you'll find out that that does exist with this particular show. Um, I want to talk a little bit about the theme song for the show because it's one that I really did like. I like the way they incorporated the theme song at the end of this first episode. It was very long, which is what I like in a theme song. And so they did a nice job of laying it out. And then we did watch we didn't watch the next episode. We just watched the beginning of the next episode. And then, of course, we saw the beginning of the last episode. And the theme song remained. And I do like that they kept the theme song and the scenes that kind of go along with it. Brandon, what were your thoughts about the theme song?
Yeah, I certainly did enjoy the theme song for that they used for, beginning of episode 2, and I thought it really just sort of encapsulated what the show was trying to uh, what they're trying to do with the series. But for that first episode, though, we had a whole opening sequence at the very beginning, but another one at the end, and I will say it was very extensive.
Yeah, very, very extensive. I haven't seen the only show that I've seen do this just kind of like that was on the Connors when it came back as the for the first episode. They did have the theme song at the end. Um, so I'm sorry. So I made a sort of a connection there loosely. I'm sorry, Brad. And let's see. Like I said, overall, I thought it was a nice show. In ratings, I've been trying to rate from 1 to 5, five being the highest. I would actually give this one a 4, just a strong B equivalent. Like I said, it wasn't quite an A, but at the same time, it held my interest at the same. It held my interest throughout, and I will watch. I think periodically I will tune in to kind of see how things kind of go along with the series. Your thoughts, Brian?
Yeah, I fully agree with it being a 4. I thought it definitely held my attention. It was definitely intriguing, although there certainly was a lot going on in this episode.
Yeah, there was a lot going on. So hopefully the future episodes, won't have a lot going on. But yeah, but there was a lot, and it did keep, both of our interests. Was there anything else you want to talk about with the show, Brandon?
Well, we did actually have a connection.
Oh, what's our connection, Brand?
Yeah, so in this case, our connection is with the director of the episode, Robert Butler. And do you have any guesses as to what he previously directed that we have seen?
No, Brandon, tell me, what did he direct?
Okay, so he directed the first 2 episodes of Batman from 1966, High Diddle Riddle, and Smack in the Middle.
Oh, good gracious. Yeah, so that's good to know.
So yeah, but definitely, for those tuning in, definitely keep your eye out on that name. We may or may not see, his name pop up again later this month.
Yeah. Okay. We'll have to see if he pops up. Oh, one other thing I did want to talk about was we learn a lot about Madison in this episode, or at least initially we learn about her. One of the things I will say is that we didn't learn a lot about David. I think you picked up something, Brandon, that I didn't pick up. Will you tell the audience what you picked up on?
Yeah, so one of the things they do mention, and this is very much in passing, is that while we know that Maddie is, I said, a former model, is that we do find out indirectly that David Addison is some sort of former person associated with TV. We don't know if this is like as an actor or a journalist or something, but he has a way to connect to the press and that the press knows who he is. But they didn't really go into detail as to why exactly we have this connection, other than I think it was a one-off mention where someone had recognized him. I just can't remember what exactly it was, but they didn't linger on it. So I'm curious as to, in the series, we'll learn more about him, or if he's just going to be the way that everyone else sort of spills their guts.
Yeah. Yeah, so that'll be interesting to see. And so it kind of reminded me of, and we have not talked about this, is Remington Steele and the fact of how they kind of came together. So we'll see if that one day is one of the shows that we talk about. And so, all right. So once more, we thank everybody for watching today, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Oh, and Mom, there is one quick thing I did want to mention too.
Okay.
Well, first of all, funny that you should mention Remington Steele, as they actually shared some behind the scenes people.
Oh, did they? And who did they share?
So Remington Steele, their creator, or one of the co-creators, is Robert Butler, the director of the episode that we had just spoken about.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's interesting. So we can tell when things are alike.
Yeah, we definitely can. And there were some other people, who have that same association between the two shows. But I did want to just mention this one thing. You had mentioned that the show falls under that drama comedy line, dramedy, is that this show is actually one of the ones that actually popularized that genre, because it really hadn't been successful on TV before.
Oh, really? Well, that's good to know.
Yeah, and so that truly has led the way to even, the dramedies of present day, like I think of High Potential.
Oh, yeah. One of my favorite shows.
But yeah, like I said, I'm just glad that we're able to speak about these shows. And yeah, but I thank, everyone for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you for watching today, and we will see you next time.
Take care.
Right, bye bye.